Omni Pro asked the question, what's the difference between Android and iOS? So the difference between iOS and Android, it's something that is very, very obvious. Android is a open system whereby you can easily customize your phone or the operating system to what you want or to how it's going to suit you. But for iOS, it is a closed system. You cannot. It is what Apple wants you to have, or the limit at which Apple wants you to use a software. That is the limit you reach. It is what Apple wants for you that you can use. And another key difference between iOS and Android is that you have plenty options when it comes to Android. Let's say, for example, now you want an Android device. There are many brands under Android. For example, you have Techno, Samsung, Infinix, plenty different devices, many brands under Android. But for iOS, it's just iPhone only. And even inside Android, even inside those brands, let's say, for example, now you decide to pick a brand that you want under Android. It's that same brand. They have categories of devices. They have the budget devices, they have the mid-range devices, and then they have the high-end flagship devices. So you see that there's a lot of options. So you have options anywhere your money should, you can now go and buy. Another key difference between iOS and Android is that iOS have more software or updates than Android. And this software update is not because of that Android don't give them software update too, but it's only for the high-end flagship devices that have updates. Because I think the company used to pay, every phone brand used to pay Google to give them a number of software updates that their phone can collect. Like now for Samsung, now they have about 7 years software updates, and that is because Samsung is paying Google some amount of money for them to be able to create space for them to have that 7 years of software or updates. But for iOS, almost all of their devices are all flagship devices. So that is why they have is anyone you. That's why any list it can get updates. But for Android now, that has different categories. You don't expect the budget devices. And sometimes even the phone prices, even the software updates too enter the phone price too. That would make sometimes phone very expensive. That you hear phone 1 million, you hear phone 2 million. That is because they added their software updates inside. So now the bottom line now in this thing is that if you want freedom and options, go for Android. But if you want simplicity and long-term ecosystem integration, go for iOS.